Part of this project is sponsored by PCBWay. More on that later. Hey guys, this is Sam from the Control Puzzle Shop, and today's video is the second part of the new Prometheus build. In the last video, we talked about what will be the plan for the new machine, and we also started to build the frame. I've received the part PCBWay machine for us for this machine, and we will look into that. We will also install the middle plate of the machine, the motor assembly, for the Z-axis, the ball screw, and the rails. And I think that will be pretty much it for today's video. And don't waste any time, and let's get right into it. PCBWay is sponsoring this project, part of this project. So they generously provide us with their services like machining this middle plate. I could not be happier than that with the quality of the part. All the dimensions are right, and the surface finish is very nice also with the sandblasted and natural anodization color. Speaking of PCBWay, for those who don't know, they are a leading company in PCB manufacturing. They can offer you top quality PCB with almost as much layer as you want in combination with PCB assembly. Remember the time as a maker when one of the only way to have a somewhat good looking circuit board was to play with strong acid and copper plated FR4? As affordable as they are, it's not worth it to do it myself anymore. They are not just offering PCB, but also all sort of things like additive manufacturing, even metal or engineering materials, and also subtractive manufacturing like CNC machining. You just need to upload your file and choose what you want, and that's pretty much it. You can learn all that and more by using the link in the video description. Thank you, PCBWay. First thing I want to do is to tap few holes in it. I didn't ask PCBWay to do it because I was capable myself to do some of them. I just asked them to do the M5 holes in the middle plate because the holes are not going through, and I don't have any button tap to tap them, and also I don't have the right equipment to do them properly. So PCBWay made these, but I did all the rest for the M3 and 3 holes in the middle plate. That was pretty easy. When that's done, you might have seen there's two parts inside this. Basically, there's the middle plate and also the build plate connected with tabs. I did that because I wanted to reduce the cost to machine this part. So instead of making like two separate parts, I only needed to upload one part, and both of them are basically inside one. And the only downside I could see with this method is if you anodize them with a certain color, you will have have small notches where the tab was. So you will see the aluminum color. So let's say you anodized it blue, you will have like the little notch around the part where you filed them. When the GitHub repository will be complete, I will make sure to include a true version of this, one with both part integrated and two separate files if ever you really want to have a perfect finish or want to machine them yourself or whatever. Now time for the UV source. This is a all-in-one unit with the proper optics for this setup. It consists of a single LED inside. I don't remember how many watts it has, but I know it's more than 250. And it has a hourglass shaped lens on it. Generally, you put the Fresnel lens on top of it to collimate the light rays, but at this size, at this build size, a 14-inch LCD, you need to have quite a lot of distance between the two. To fix this issue, this uses a mirror inside, so the LED is mounted 90 degrees, so we can save some height. I should have installed it beforehand onto the middle plate. It would have been a lot easier to do, but here we are. I have made a cutout under the plate so the LED assembly can slide right in. Sliding with a bit of force because it was a tight fit. Even with more than enough relief in CAD, the dimensions were a bit off because this is, after all, a bent sheet metal, so it can vary quite a lot around the bent edges. So I printed this part. This will basically hold the motor and the ball screw and fix everything to the frame. We just need a couple of screws for that. I will be also using this coupler. This type has been recommended by a lot of users online because before I was using the spider style coupling like this. Apparently those one are better, so we will try this one. The holes in the bracket here will be used to pass through the cables from the top of the machine down at the bottom, because without them it will be difficult to do so. Okay, so I wasn't sure if everything was fitting together right, but I think I need to put a spacer first, then the block, another spacer, and then the blocker, I guess. I leave the plastic wrap because it's all greasy and I'm on the kitchen the kitchen table, so I don't want to mess everything up. I put a hole here so we can tighten those screws later. I think it's supposed to be a very tight fit, and I had a hard time with the support, so I think it will be an even harder fit. They're not touching, so logically it should go down a little bit more. All right. Now it should fit. So the other part we need to work on is the top bracket, the top bearing for the lead screw. Um, I didn't have any like good way to attach this to this part because I, I cannot use screws to put on top because the screw head will stick out too much, at least with the design of the frame I have right now. The through hole there, I cannot put screws because the back touches the extrusion bar and the holes don't align with the slots in the extrusion bar neither. So the only way I could think of is to put screws from the bottom of this part. I already threaded the plastics. I didn't put any like nuts or inserts because we don't need to unscrew that often. I don't think I will ever unscrew them, and they don't have like force on them. They I just put them just to hold this bearing in place from sliding around. And on our setup, this bracket is not mandatory because we don't have any forces side to side from the lead screw. So even in our last design, we didn't use this one because it introduces more problem than than fixing some because of the wobble of the lead screw. That's it for this part. So there will be like a plate on top. The plate at the top of the machine will sit on them. So this one will not come off. It can't move side to side because of the screws under it. And this red bracket will be fixed on the extrusion. So I don't think we need more than that. I will leave the nut on there because I forgot to print the tool to remove it. So for those who don't know, you really don't want to remove it, the nut, without the tools, because all the little balls will will come off of the nut. So you really don't want that. So I will leave it on there. I don't think I will need to remove it, but we will see later when we will build the arm. I think this will be a pain. Oops. So I finally went with the black oxide. I had the M3x10 screw because with the M3x8 I was not able to. I was fighting with the T-nuts because I didn't know if they were engaged properly. So instead of having, I don't know how many T-nuts engaged properly, I just went with the 10 mm one, and I will cross my finger that everything will stay nice and black, I guess, without rust. Yes, man. So this is it for today, guys. I hope you are enjoying the build process of the Prometheus. In the next video, I think I will present you the new Apollo board, the V4, and because I'm still waiting on some part to make the build arm and the VAT. So I will keep that for another video, but I hope next week or so you will see the update on the new Apollo board. I'm very excited about to show it to you, and don't forget to share in comments your idea down below if you have any. And remember, I'm sharing everything on GitHub, so every video you will see updates on the GitHub. We also have a Discord you can join and talk with us about ideas and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope seeing you in the next video. See you soon. Will do a transition.